Hey everyone, this is Paul Fisher with the Billion Coin. Today is another live broadcast. It's Friday, May 11th, and I'm broadcasting out of the Las Vegas area in Nevada. We're going to talk about our coin. It's a cryptocurrency that's been out for 2 years now, and it is different than all the other cryptocurrencies because it is not traded on a trading exchange or a market. So it cannot be manipulated by anyone wealthy, and therefore make the price volatile all the time so that people cannot trust it or have enough confidence in it to accept it on a regular basis. So it makes it tough to use as money when these currencies are on the trading market exchange. The only good thing about putting those coins on is that it made them more popular, and it did help increase the price of the coin because it did make the coin more popular and people found out about it. Now, our coin, which was created 2 years ago by an individual or individuals who had a completely different outlook on what they wanted to do with their coin. And that was their goal was to eliminate global poverty, financial poverty with their coin. So they not only created enough coin, which is a billion coins, that's why it's called billion coin, but they created it on an algorithm that increases the value of the coin by the people, meaning every time the individual person comes in and joins and signs the membership agreement to our private community, then it raises the value of our coin. It used to, when it started out, by €1. So if we had 10,000 members, the coin itself would have risen to the price of 10,000 euros. Today, we base the value on gold, grains of gold. So each person that comes in now raises the price and the value of the coin by 1 grain of gold, whatever the price of gold is. Right now, it's around 2.2 euros or about 2.8 US dollars. Then what the algorithm does is it increases until it hits our first billion members. And then it maxes that price out and will never get higher. So if we were basing it on a euro and we reached a billion people, our first billion, each coin would have been worth $1 billion. So again, that's the reason why we called it the billion coin. But now, of course, we're basing it on gold, grains of gold. So when we hit our first billion members, that coin will be worth about it'll be worth about 3 billion. If it was today's same prices on gold. Okay, so if you owned one coin, you'd be, a billionaire times 3 in the billion coin. We also call divisions of the billion coin kringles. Like Bitcoin, the division is called Satoshi. Ours is called Kringle. And we got that name from the owner who calls himself Kris Kringle because, like Santa Claus, he's given the gift of his coins away. Okay, he doesn't sell any coins. Now, in the beginning, obviously, he did. Okay, in order to give it some value, he brought in only 100 individuals who he vetted out and made sure they were like-minded individuals. This was extremely important. And he only allowed them to purchase a certain amount. And there was another about 71 people who, these 100 knew they could trust. And so it started out when they opened it up in March 21st of 2016, had 171 people. And of course, they got their coins, hundreds of thousands of coins, very, very cheap for a very low price. But that was okay. And then it went from there. And by the end of our first year, our membership had grown to just less than 100,000 people. So the coin at that time was already worth 2.2, well, about 200,000, was over $200,000 a coin. So that made it impossible for most people to purchase a full coin. And the whole point is for us, the billion coin, to create 1 million billionaires and then 1 billion millionaires. That's multi-billionaires and multi-millionaires. Okay, so we need to get at least one coin in the hands of 1 million people. Now, if you're wondering what that's like or compared to and why that's our goal, we've got a world population of 7.5 billion people right now, 7.5 billion people, and there's only a little over 2,000 billionaires. That's the problem with the world. All the wealth is in the hands of 2,000 individuals who have and own 99% of the wealth and leave the other 1%. In fact, I think it just went down to 0.5% of the wealth left for all the rest of the billions and billions of people on this earth. So basically, we are enslaved to that debt-based system that the central bankers have created centuries ago. And they finally took over America in 1913 with the Federal Reserve Act, and they haven't lost their power since. So right now, with our new president, Patriots and Trump are at war with that system. We want to get rid of it. John F. Kennedy was the last one who tried. Problem was there wasn't enough technology at that time. And the same thing happened with Reagan. The timing was not there yet. But with cryptocurrency and the creation of the blockchain platform, now there's nothing they can do about it. Okay, it's completely in the hands of the people. Their money is in the hands of the people. It's like having gold, all of us having gold and silver again, which they took from us. Okay, and they even managed to take it from other countries that they got control of and put it into their vaults. But that's been switching over in the last couple of years. Countries have been repatriating their gold to get it back, at least in their country, so that they can give their people confidence that when they come out with a coin or a monetary system, they can say, hey, it's based on our gold. It's real. And that's what's happening in Venezuela right now, because Venezuela was in a horrific situation with their new socialist government, and people didn't have food on the shelves. They were starving to death. And the government created a cryptocurrency called Petrocoin, and they based it on the country's main resource, which is oil. Problem was and is that the central banking system, deep elite, the deep state, have put sanctions on their country so they can't sell their oil. So the people said, well, we've got this oil, this is cool, but we can't sell it right now. So is this coin really real? Is this really real money? Can we, put our faith in it? And the government said, well, you have a point there. We understand what you're saying, but guess what? We have our gold back now. So let's just switch it over to gold. We'll back it by gold instead of oil. So now the people are pretty excited and they're starting to use the coin. And it's becoming successful. And all the other countries in the world are watching. In fact, just 2 days ago, I read an article where Venezuela is making deals with the Palestinians with their monetary system. And these things are what's good for the world. Every country that can come out now with their own coin and back it with gold or whatever resource that country has brings the freedom back to the people of that country. So it creates a great deal of freedom, creates a great deal of peace, and it eliminates poverty. And it stops these wealthy individuals from coming into their countries and buying up the people, then the governments, and then controlling them, and then stripping their lands of their resources, taking their oil, taking their gold, their silver, their diamonds, whatever they do. That's what they do. And then they store and hoard the wealth to themselves. I mean, if there's only 2,000 billionaires out of 7.5 billion people, something's wrong. Okay. We don't know who those 2,000 people are, but they're not real nice people. Okay. So just common sense and logic tells you that we're in a really bad situation. We have been for many, many years. All of us grew up in this situation, and so we're just used to it. We don't know any better. I've been aware of it since I was a kid, just because my mom was involved in that aspect for some reason. You know, her family was always aware of the central banking system that controlled America. And so we talked about it at our dinner table. It was just, that was that. And so I got an early education on it, and I stayed with that because it was a passion of mine. The only problem was there was nothing I could do about it. There's nothing anybody could do about it. The structure was so solid with the central banking system by that time, it wasn't going away. Okay. And they had bought it, all the politicians, and except John F. Kennedy. And here we are today. And for the first time, because of technology, there's an opportunity now. Okay, so countries are using this blockchain platform and the technology to put their records, their papers, all their stuff into it to keep it safe because it's double encrypted and nobody can get into it. Okay, so and they're watching these cryptocurrencies come out and seeing what they can do. Okay, now obviously the ones on the market are limited. They're an option to protect your wealth because they'll protect it from the fiat currency that we use today. That's worth nothing. It's not backed by anything. So they can protect that. So that's a source. Like if you own gold and kept it somewhere and buried it in your backyard, wherever, and silver, okay, and it would be like that, except nobody can steal your cryptocurrency, right? So there is an option, but it's not a solution, meaning it's not a solution to take care of all the problems economically worldwide. It's just not enough being made with those coins. And because they're on a market, it can always be manipulated and bought up by the wealthy who could end up down the line eventually controlling it all. Because that's what they do. It's like the stock market. They pump and then they dump. Okay. They buy it up and then they sell. And people panic and they sell. And then they buy up their stocks or they buy up their coins. And each time they do that, they get more and more of the people's coins until there's nothing left. And again, we're finding ourselves where we're at right now, where we're trying to survive on half of the percent of the wealth of the world, while what, 2,000 people own 99.5% of the wealth? It's insane. And that's why we have war, chaos, terrorism all over the place, because that's how they make money. And they use their war machine. And they make money and they control. So they're losing though, and they've been losing ever since Trump took office. Okay, they lost in North Korea. Well, they have one last chance, right? Trump still has to meet with Kim on June 12th. So they have one last chance to mess up that deal and eliminate the peace process between North Korea and South Korea. But we're going to do everything we can to make sure they don't, because we're all about peace, creating peace around the world and getting rid of all the wars and bringing our troops home. Same thing with Syria. Same thing's going to happen with Iran. We see things changing all over the world. We see Armenia and Turkey talking now. Those two countries have been hated each other for years. Okay, for decades. Now they're talking and they're talking about, eliminating all that crap. Okay, you've got China, who has backed all their money up, their yuan, with gold. And now they're buying oil. They are the largest consumer of oil in the world. They're buying their oil with the yuan instead of the US dollar. The petrodollar is what we call the US dollar. Since they took us off the American gold standard, since they took America's money off the gold standard in 1971. They called it the petrodollar, and then they told us there was no gasoline, and we had to we had to sit in our cars for 45 minutes just to get a tank of gas on certain days, depending on the number of our license plate. Okay, so those of you who are my age, or maybe a little younger or older, remember that. I was 13, but I remember sitting there in the station wagon with my mom saying, "This is crazy, Mom." But anyway, it didn't last very long. 6 months, I don't know, 8 months. And we were back to normal, but it was all BS. Okay. But see, back then, you have to remember there was no internet. In fact, we had three sources of news: ABC, CBS, and NBC. We didn't even have Fox. Okay. So whatever they said, we believed. We had to. Where else were we going to get the news? Newspapers? The same thing. They were all owned by the central banking system. So they could tell us whatever they wanted. Today's a whole different thing, right? So we've been seeing changes over the last 2 decades, 3 decades. Okay. But the internet really matured after 2000. It just went crazy. It just became awesome. And so things started to change at that point for the better. And it's only gotten better since. And they've tried to control the internet as much as they can. And they've done a fairly good job of doing it. But they can't control this blockchain platform technology. It's not in their hands. It's in the people's hands, and nobody knows who the people are. Spread out all over the world. Okay. And Satoshi Nakamoto came up with Bitcoin. That's what he calls himself. He stepped away from it 2 years after he created it so that it would give confidence to the people that he wouldn't come back and change things, or he wasn't going to stick around and change the plan and destroy the value of that coin. And then the miners wouldn't have anything and the owners wouldn't have anything. So he was very, very smart in everything he did. The only problem was eventually somebody put it on a market exchange. And that's what the system is now. So now those coins again are an option, but they're not a solution. The billion coin, on the other hand, being not on a market, being on an algorithm that values its coin by people, you and I, human beings, who are way more worth their value and weight than gold. We have the ability to create our own economy and use Kringles on a day-to-day basis as money. And that's where we're going. Now, we see what Bitcoin has done. It's taken them years, right? Because they were the first. People didn't understand it. It took many years. It's been, almost 10 years. And for people to learn and become educated about Bitcoin. Once they put it on the trading exchange, it got more popular because people started realizing, well, here's a way, all these people that play the stock market or the commodities market or any market at all to make money on a daily basis. They're traders, they're gamblers. If they're good at it, they make money. If they're not good at it, they lose. Okay, so it's like playing with a casino. The house always wins, right? So Bitcoin's popular. It didn't make Bitcoin popular. Since they were the first, people kept watching the price of it go up. In 2016, the price went up significantly. And then in 2017, it really went crazy. It got up to almost $20,000 a coin. And then it dropped back down because the wealthy dumped it. Okay, and it went down to almost, I think it went down as low as $4,000 a coin in January or February of this year. And now it still hasn't really recovered. It's up around $8,000 or $9,000. Okay, but the point is, as a protection of wealth, it's great because if you buy it and hang on to it, and don't play it with the trading exchanges, but just keep it. It's always going to go up in value 12 months later. And 12 months after that, it's going to go up in value again. Okay, so in other words, you can skip all that up and down craziness that the traders go through every day. And you got to have a certain kind of mindset to be a trader because it could be pretty depressing to watch that coin go up and down, or stocks and bonds and whatever. It's a stressful way to make money, but some people love it. But anyway, that's the situation with Bitcoin. So it does make it an option if you hang on to it to protect your wealth. But again, the billion coin is a solution, not just an option, but a solution to world poverty. Okay, so what is our job? Is our job to sell people coins, to get those coins in their hands? Well, yeah, but we have a small amount of centralization, which means we have a small amount of control in how we do that. Okay, it's sort of like a vetting process. We can control it in the sense that we don't allow the rich to come in and buy what they want. Yeah, that's huge. We control how much coins we give to people. Again, we are going for 1 million billionaires. So we are determined to get at least one coin or more in the hands of 1 million people. And then we'll create a billion millionaires, multimillionaires. And when we get to our first billion, we'll be able to completely take care of the other 6.5 billion people on Earth in abundance, not, scratching out a living like people are doing today, where, two people have to work just to have a roof over their head and take care of a couple of kids. It's pathetic. It's horrible. Now we're in the worst things, and we've got an economy that's about to crash again. It hasn't gotten better since the bubble bursted in 2008. And we can't believe the corporate media whatsoever. Okay, because they want us to believe everything's good. When meanwhile, we can't go out to dinner anymore where we want to. And we're going, why? What's going on? Because the devaluation of the US dollar keeps happening and things keep going up in price. And, we're thinking we're maybe getting some equity in our homes. And then what happens? The real estate market bubble crashes like it did in 2008, and people lose their homes. They lose everything they worked for. And I know many people who that happened to personally. And so we're in the business of distribution, common sense. We have to get that coin out, right? We got to put it in your hands. So that's why we're giving it away free. Not us who own coin and worked and purchased to get those coins. We've got enough coins that we can sell some. He will sell $3 billion. That gift right now of 25,000 Kringles will probably be worth close to $1 million. I'm calculating it right, based on the price of gold today again. It may take us 2, maybe even 3 years to get to $1 billion. But here's the statistics so far. Started out with 171 people. A year later, we were at 100,000. Okay, that was in March 21st of 2017. Now, the following 12 months, we grew by 30 times. So we went by 100,000 people to 3 million. Today, right now, we're over 3.1, in fact, 3.1 and a half, getting close to 3.2 million. And this was all on the old blockchain platform 1.0 that can only do so many transactions a second, just like all the others. It's why the ones that are built that way can't do anything about it. And especially if there's no centralization control at all they can do is the miners can get together and create a fork and create a new coin and hope that the transactions can still get through fast enough. Okay. But I did a transaction last night. It took almost an hour before they had enough confirmations to transact. That's just crazy. How can you do business with a system that's that slow? We need a system that's as fast as MasterCard and Visa, where people just go through the register and boom, they're gone. It's done. Okay. So that's what we have. Okay. In the last 8 months, we've built 2.0 blockchain platform. It's about ready to go. Okay. We're right on the verge of migrating all 3.1 million of our people over to the new system. And when we are on that system, we will be able to do transactions just like a Visa and Master register. Okay, so if we grew by 30 times last year under horrible conditions, I mean, it got so slow, we got so bogged down, even though we're not on a trading exchange, because every trade is a transaction. That's what got Bitcoin in trouble. Okay, because of all those trades that were going on after they were on a market. But we, because we see our coin as the solution, we're using it as money. Our peer-to-peer transactions got enough where the same thing happened. It bogged the system down and it slowed down, and then it was taking forever to get transactions, accomplished. And so, in fact, at one point, there was a couple of months where we couldn't even do anything. 2 or 3 months, we couldn't even transact. Okay, that's how bad it got. But meanwhile, the admin and creators of the coin were working on this new one because it's already been, like I said, at least 8 years. And technology doubles every 18 months. So the technology is there now. So they built a brand new blockchain 2.0 that is super fast. And once we get on this in the next 2-3 months, as we finish getting our 3.1 million people over, our population is going to explode because we're going to be able to use this anywhere and everywhere. And people are going to realize, merchants, retailers, anybody who is being approached to and saying, this is our coin. Well, I know about cryptocurrency. I know about Bitcoin. I can't accept it because it goes up and down, and I got too fast of a turnaround with my merchandise that I can't use it to, if it goes down in price, I lose. And then there's some companies, obviously, they have enough cash flow where they could go ahead and accept Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is being accepted at some places. Those people are just hanging on to it and watching it go up in value every 12 months. Okay, but now you've got a coin where you can take to people and say, listen, here's our coin. It's not on a market exchange. It's not, no. This is how we value it, and this is the value of the coin now, and this is the value of Kringles. If you accept Kringles, then your money, those Kringles will go up the next day in value, and they'll never go down. And that will pique their interest right away. But then if you say, okay, we have 90 million people that have Kringles and they want to make business, what do you think business owners are going to do? You've got 90 million in your community that wants to spend money on my business? Yeah. Can I please join? That's what's going to happen. Okay, so a year from now, if we only grow 30 times again, we'll be close to 100 million people. It will be an economy at that point. It won't be a complete and full worldwide economy, but it will be an economy. We'll be using it at most every place we want to. Okay, so again, we're the first, but we're not the last abundance-based coin. There's another one coming out, and it will be successful. Okay, it's from the Telegram messaging service, and they've been around since 2013. And they've got they had 200 million people chatting on their free app in the month of March. 200 million after 5 years. Why? Because it's completely private. Nobody knows what you're chatting about. Not even Telegram knows what you're chatting about. It's completely private. It's all encrypted. It's all open source. So the people are confident that they can use the service and not be spied on by anybody. That is what attracted the people. Okay, so they understood that a lot faster than they could understand a cryptocurrency. So that's why they have this growth. But now that they have this growth and they have the confidence of those people, now the owner says, okay, now I'm going to bring out a coin. And it's going to be abundance based, and it's going to be based on an algorithm. We're not going to put it on a trading exchange. And what is that algorithm? Well, instead of every member increasing the value of their coin, it's every purchase. So every person that makes a purchase raises the value of that coin by a fraction. So the next person that buys it has to buy it at a higher price. It's just a small fraction because you can divide a coin by 100 million times. So, but the point is that the price never goes down. So that's what makes it the second, or will maybe making it the second abundance-based coin. Now, I don't know all the other details about it, how many coins they're making, all that kind of stuff. So I have no idea, but I do know that it validates our coin. because their ICO, which I think is still taking place, because the coin doesn't come out until April of next year, 2019. But their ICO has broken all records. People investing in that coin has broken all records because of the confidence that people have now, because they're aware of how things are working. $1.7 billion they brought in already. Okay, $1.7 billion. It's unheard of. But that's the confidence that people have now because they're learning more and more and getting educated on what cryptocurrency is and what abundance-based coin like the Billion coin is all about. So we, because we're in the distribution business, are now stepping it up big time. We're doing videos every day, 24 hours a day. Now, what we've done is we've divided the slots of 24 hours into half-hour slots. So we can get 48 people, 48 different individuals doing videos every day, every 24-hour period. Okay, and we can have the same individuals doing them every day if they want. I try to do mine every day. You know, some days I'll have something come up and I maybe won't make it, but I'm on here every day at the same time. And most of the time I go over my half hour, but that's okay because people can switch around to their favorite, you know, individual who's talking about Bitcoin. I mean, the Billion coin. And that's fine. And they can go back and look at the rest of my video if they want to, because those videos stay in our YouTube channels, right? So they're always there. And that's what I do. I do a lot. I can't, you know, with my hours, obviously, these people are doing it all over the world. And they're doing it in different languages, not just English. They're doing it in French, Tagalog. They're doing it in Dutch. They're doing it in all kinds of languages, okay? All over the world. And the ones in English that I can understand, I'll go back and watch some of them because I just like to see how people and what different things they're talking about. Because we're all coming from a different aspect in the sense of what we are, what has excited us, you know. So you'll find out what has made them passionate about the Billion coin. And of course, yeah, there's going to be a lot of us having the same passion for the same things, but we'll say it differently or we'll talk about different things. A lot of people will come on and just do an update. They'll say, hey, the admin just came out with another blog post and here's the latest blog post. But anybody could go and read the blog anytime they want and keep up with what's going on. See, we are a community. We know who we are. Admin knows who we are, and he has contact with us. Okay? Nobody has contact with anybody in the Bitcoin. Okay? So even though their community is 12 million approximately, you can't really get an absolute count with the system being that decentralized. You can figure it out through trading exchanges and wallets, and it's about 12 million members that are using Bitcoin in the world. 12 million, that's all. Okay, but yet 12 million is letting them have a little bit of an economy, isn't it? Because there's our businesses out there that are still accepting Bitcoin in spite of their limitations, because they understand that Bitcoin will always go up because of supply and demand. They're only making 21 million coins. That's it. So the coin is not enough to feed the world, but it is enough to bring that supply and demand and go up, and those who understand will buy it and hang on to it. Unless the rich buy it up before you get your hands on it. Okay. But, and that's the problem with these cryptocurrencies on the market again. But anyway, they have their own economy slightly at 12 million. Okay. And when they double, and I don't know how long it's going to take, their growth is not very quick, let's just say, because people keep seeing that price going up and down, and it just scares them to get involved. Even though they understand partially what it is and they want to believe in it, they don't like the price going up and down every day. And I don't blame them. And so they're not used to just with the idea of, hey, I'll just buy some and I don't care how it goes up or down. I'm just going to hang on to it. Because I know 12 months from now, if I bought 1,000, 12 months from now, it's going to be worth more than 1,000. You know, it could be worth 2,000, it could be worth 20,000. Okay, so that's how they need to think when it comes to these cryptocurrencies that they want to own or invest in that's on the market. Okay, with Billion Coin, of course, we're completely different. So we, with our new blockchain platform, will blow past Bitcoin's 12 million in just 60 days after we're on that system, and it's the people realize it's working. So we have to get the word out. And unlike the attraction of a chatting service that's completely private, people are a little skeptical about cryptocurrencies, even Bitcoin. So we have to educate the people, and that's why we're doing these live broadcasts. Those of us who just want to. Those of us who have been around in the system, I've been around in the system for only 1 year. Okay, I missed the first year of Bitcoin, but I didn't miss the boat. The boat is still here because we control the distribution of the wealth. You haven't missed the boat. If you think all the people got in and early, they got in for such, a low price, blah, blah, blah. And now the coin's worth, whatever it's worth, $8 million, geez, how am I ever going to own a coin? You can have a coin. You can either get it by our promotions where we'll give you a coin by inviting and giving the gift out to a certain amount of people, or we'll give you the coin through a promotion where you just buy $100. You just buy $100 and we'll give you one full coin. It sounds crazy. It almost sounds like a scam, doesn't it? But you've never seen leverage like this before because nobody's ever been in a position to have this kind of leverage. Think about it. This is cryptocurrency. This is all on the internet. This is all on a blockchain, encrypted service platform. And we have kept partial centralization and control. So we can do that because our whole point is not to make fiat currency. Our whole point is to get the coin in people's hands so that we can use the coin as money. Okay, so, and we need to spread the wealth out. We don't want the wealth in just a few people's hands. That's not our point. It's the exact opposite. And we as individuals do not think like that. We still think with a scarcity mindset because that's all we've ever known. There's not enough, they tell us. There's not enough. You can't have that car. It's too expensive. Go get yourself something else. It's not right. Because guess what? There's plenty enough material for everybody to have a Rolls Royce or whatever car they want. There's enough resources in this world to feed and drink 3 times the amount of people that are on this earth right now, even more. I mean, seriously, the resources are unlimited in this world. But they won't tell you that. They'll tell you the exact opposite. Oh, there's global warming. The world's going to die. Oh, there's climate. There's that. There's lack of this. There's lack. We're running out of water. We're running out of this. They get that so that they can control you and get your money. It's that simple. Okay? But the people are waking up. Countries are waking up and you're seeing things happen. Russia's already kicked out the US dollar. That hurt. Okay? But that was very smart of Russia. China is doing the same thing. They're trying to kick it out. And if they make a deal with Saudi Arabia where they get most of their oil and Saudi Arabia decides to take their yuan instead of US dollars, that's the end of the US dollar in China. And all those dollars have to come back to the United States. And what's it going to do to our economy? Destroy it. Okay. That's just one scenario. There's hundreds of scenarios that could happen with a system like that. And so the system has to come down and a new monetary economic system has to replace it. The only thing that makes sense is that they're going to go back to gold and back the currency by gold. Because that's the only thing that will bring the faith and confidence back in people that the money is usable. Otherwise, they're all going to demand cryptocurrency. Okay? And cryptocurrency is not going away. It's always going to be there. So if there is nobody that wants to back up their money with a resource like silver or gold, then fine. The world can live on cryptocurrencies, and every country that makes one, whether it's just for their country or whether it's a worldwide like ours, the better. Money doesn't compete with money. Okay? So it's not a business, it's money. Okay, so the more options we have with money, the better, right? For everyone. It eliminates poverty, and therefore eliminates all the crime that's motivated by lack, right? People don't have anything, so they go out and they rob and they steal and they commit crime because they need to take care of themselves. They need some money. Okay, so eliminating global poverty will eliminate crime that is motivated by lack, but it won't eliminate all crime because it doesn't get rid of hate. People are still going to hate each other. Okay, so the point is the world will be a much better place when the people are free economically, because that's what it's all about. And that's why I'm involved in it and so passionate, because my passion is freedom and truth. Those are two of the biggest passions I have. So I just didn't think in all my life I was ever going to see that kind of freedom until I discovered Bitcoin and I started to get excited. But then I realized this: why did somebody put this on a market? You know, and it was weird because while I was still doing research, like 4 months after I had purchased some Bitcoin, that's when a video popped up on the right side of YouTube. You know how they give you those suggestions to watch, and there was one there that said TBC, and there's different letters that you can see on Coin Market Cap that will represent a coin. Like Bitcoin is BTC, that stands for Bitcoin. So all the other coins have different things. Like Ethereum is ETH. Okay, so here was this TBC, and I knew I hadn't seen TBC. And then it said the billion coin. I go, I've never heard of the billion coin. What is this? And that was the beginning. Okay, I watched that video, and then I saw another video. There wasn't too many videos a year ago. Okay, there was like 6 to 11 videos top that I could find on people that were excited about the billion coin. And I said, well, gosh, this is weird. Why isn't everybody excited about this coin? This coin makes sense. Logically, it makes complete sense. And then I realized there was quite a number of videos that were coming out saying, oh, that coin's a scam. Don't get involved with them. They're not on the trading exchange. How ridiculous is that? I mean, it's more of a scam to put something on a trading exchange, which belongs to the central banking system. That's their system. Stock market's their system. Commodity market's their system. Okay, coin market cap is their system. It's centralized. So countries can regulate those exchanges right out of existence. China already has. Now, the reason China has done that is because they are backing their currency with gold for the first time. And they want to get the confidence of their people in that currency. They don't want any distractions. So they said, okay, we don't want Bitcoin right now in our country. So no trading exchanges can be in our country. We don't want it. We're going to just keep our blinders on until we have solid financial system with our money. And that's exactly what they're doing, and they're becoming successful, and they will succeed. Okay, but eventually they're going to pull in cryptocurrency. But that's why. And that's the problem again with trading exchanges, is that they are centralized, so they can be regulated and they can be made unlawful. And what are people going to do? That's again going to mess with the value of those Bitcoins and all the other coins that are on the market. Okay, so it's not going to be that way with the billion coin. So people either were afraid, freaked out, or they just didn't understand something that wasn't on the market. They hadn't heard about it yet. So they came out, it must be a scam. They didn't know that admin wasn't selling, that you had to buy it from actual people who had bought it and had enough coins that they could go ahead and sell some without it hurting their own wealth. Okay? There's many people who just came in and bought a little bit, and they didn't have enough. They didn't want to sell it. Okay? So if you go to those people, they say, no, I only got so much, and I'm not going to sell it because I know where it's going. But see, admin understands all of this, and its distribution phase is loaded with promos to get that money out there equally among the people, among the first billion. Like I said, we're going after 1 million billionaires. And even though we have 3.1 million members, most of those members have not taken advantage of spending $100, because most of them just came in for the free gift, and they still don't understand the leverage. But $100, come on. That's like taking the family out for dinner or to the movies with snacks. There's $100 right there. So the risk is nothing. And the reason why we charge 100 instead of, you know, nothing, which is what we're doing with the gift, is because we realized that people who were getting the gift weren't seeing it valuable. They weren't paying attention to it. It didn't make them go in and learn about the billion coin and start talking to their friends and family. You got people who have the gift, haven't even told their brother, sister, their mother, their, whatever, their parents, because they just don't really believe in it. Oh, I got this. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Well, come on, people. Get it out there. Otherwise, it's never going to go up in value. It's based on people having a coin. So we've made changes because we can. And every change admin has made has increased and improved our coin. Every single one. He's an extremely smart guy. He is anonymous, just like Satoshi Nakamoto is not his real name, who created Bitcoin, and he's anonymous. Nobody knows who he is. And there's lots of coins out there where nobody knows who the owners are. Who cares? As long as they're creating something of value and they're sticking to it, that's all that matters. Okay. So that's what we have. We have a private community. We can control our community to a large degree, enough degree that we can keep our coin going, keep the value where it's at and increasing, and eliminate anybody who might cause trouble by just closing their wallet. We have control of the wallets. Now, when we get to our first billion people and we have a worldwide economy, the admin has already said, I'm backing off. I'm going to change the wallet system back to decentralized. And you guys are on your own, because at that point, there's no point in having anything centralized. Okay, so we also, that's even better than it was before. With this new migration over to the new blockchain, he's added and changing the website right now. So we're going through a little flux right now in the next week or so. And he's adding a questionnaire, 10 questions everybody will have to answer. And so there's a little paragraph of information. You read that, which gives you the knowledge to answer A or B. Every question has 2 answers that you can choose from. So you'll read the 2 answers. You'll pick the one you think is right, according to what you just read. And if you pick the wrong one, it will tell you picked the wrong one. Go back and read the paragraph again and try again. Okay. So if you know you pick B, you just pick A. You don't even have to go back and read it. But the point is, you can't fail the test. So why have the test? Because the information in that paragraph is a vetting system. It will tell you the mission of TBC. And if you're like-minded, you'll get through those whole 10 questions and you'll have no problem with them. You'll say, let me in. I'll spend my $10 on my back office. $10 pays for a whole year of your back office. Gives you the ability to give the gift out to anybody you want. Plus see everything that's going on and give you tons of information and training on how to spread the word. $10. We had to charge something. People were not giving any value to their gift. They were not putting any value on it. So we said, okay, we'll charge them $10. And to help pay for our service. I mean, admin is completely self-funded. He doesn't make any money. He just has his own coins. It's not going to be worth anything until the coin is accepted as money, which it is. 6 months into our history, people were using it as money. Okay. All people had to do was educate each other. And of course, the poorer countries got on board faster because they weren't so brainwashed because of the lives they were living. When you're living in poverty, your mind is a little more open, especially when your country's government isn't handing you welfare or food or any kind of socialistic type system where you have to get up and struggle every day to feed yourself and your kids. Okay, countries, third world countries everywhere on the planet have been much more open-minded about our coin than second and first world countries. So here in America, I don't even think we have 100,000 members. It's just because we as Americans, being in the richest country in the world, are used to going outside, no matter how broke we may be, and usually, hopefully, having a car. If not, walking down the street, getting on a bus. But we see things. We see McDonald's, Taco Bell's, restaurants. We see beautiful buildings. We see people in beautiful cars on the street. Okay. We don't see poverty until we get down in the metropolitan areas of the big cities where you've got people living in tents on both sides of the street. Then all of a sudden it hits you. Oh, yeah. I'm grateful for what I do have. At least I have a roof over my head. These people have a tent over theirs. Okay, so it is right here in our country, and it's pathetic. So we know it. We might not want to see it or concentrate too much on it because it's depressing as all get out, right? But it's there, and it's time to change it. Now we have the ability to change it because of technology. Technology has always been better as it comes. It's always improved people's lives. Now, yes, there's bad things that people can do with technology. People can hide technology like they did with Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla invented wireless electricity. We're just hearing about it now. Those who don't know about Tesla and Einstein and all these, geniuses that were coming up with stuff. With Tesla, the central banking system said, hey, you can't give free electricity to everybody. We just built this whole system of wire going to everybody's house, and we charge them every month. We charge every person in America and every person in the world for their electricity. You can't come up and give it away free, wireless. So they took his grant money away. Tesla wasn't rich. He was living on grant money. He was getting grant money to create his and invent his stuff. But when the technology that he was coming out with was a threat to the central banking system, they cut off his funding. And the man died in pure poverty. And they took his technology and they kept it to themselves until they could figure out a way to control it. Now you're hearing about wireless electricity, aren't you? They're starting to talk about it because why? Just like Wi-Fi, they have a modem they can stick in your house and charge you for it. It should be free. Electricity should be free. Now, some people go, oh, Paul, what? Because we're so used to, no, we have to pay for it. Why? There's so much electricity in the world. It's like water. You can go down if you're at some place and there's a creek and you trust the creek, you take some water. Did you pay somebody to drink that water? Okay, that's a resource. Electricity is just there. Everything in the world, everything in this universe is electrical. Our body is completely electrical. Atoms, you know that, okay? Come on, logic and common sense. Electricity is free, but we have been brainwashed and lied to that it's not. So we pay up the yin yang every month for it, okay? And we pay for our Wi-Fi, and we pay for our phone service, and all this stuff should be free. Okay, so that's how the system is and has been, and we're changing things. And of course, that scares the crap out of the central banking system. So they're not going to go down without a fight. And you see this all over the world. Okay, they fought really hard for a war with North Korea. They kept telling us it's going to be World War III. Korea is going to bomb us. They're going to take out our electric grid, our computers, our cyber things, all going to go down. It's going to cause a war. We're going to be in a war. Russia's going to take their side. China's going to take their side. It's going to be World War III. Well, no, how can it be World War III? The whole world would die. That would be the end of the world. You really think Russia wants the end of the world? You really think China wants the end of the world? You really think any country wants the end of the world? You think Iran, who's threatening war now, wants the end of the world? No, it's all a game being played because we've got a new person in our office as president, patriots that are helping him. So we make it look, Trump comes out and says something that he wants the corporate media to run on while he's doing a completely opposite in the background. Okay? So that's what we're doing. That's why we're winning all the battles now. We haven't won the war yet, but we're winning all the battles. Okay, so we're bringing peace, obviously, to the Korean Peninsula, and we're denuclearizing the entire peninsula. Kim Jong-un has already met twice with Xi Jinping. He's left the country, got over to China, without having to worry about a regime change in his own country from the CIA, okay, or the deep state. Now, why did he do that? Because he knew the deep state was out of his country. They didn't have any more control. Okay, so peace is being made and has been made with the Chinese has been made with the South Koreans. You saw that. You saw him meet with Moon, step over the demilitarized zone, and shake hands. And I'm never going to forget this because I got emotional when I saw that. I mean, Rocket Man Kim took a step over this like a piece of cement there. And everybody's hanging around, cameras are going, and he steps over that little piece of cement. He's in South Korea now for the first time in his life. Okay, and he shakes hands with President Moon from South Korea. And then he tells President Moon, hey, we're right here. Why don't you visit North Korea and step over? He said, yeah, I will, eventually. And Kim said, no, right now. So Moon goes, okay. And he stepped over back into North Korea and shook hands again. A big giant smile on his face. He couldn't believe he had just done that. And then they stepped back over to South Korea and they chatted for a while. And the process has been going since then, right? The last part of it is Trump meeting Kim in Singapore on June 12th. And that will wrap things up. By the end of the year, the peace will be and that war will be over. So there's only one more chance for the deep state to screw things up and eliminate peace. And that's doing something disruptive between now and June 12th when Trump goes over there and finishes the deal. But we're going to see the same thing. We're seeing it in Syria already. We're freeing that country up, stopping that war. We're going to bring our troops home. And we're going to see it in Iran now. Iran's going to do the same thing Kim did. And Israel, oh man, Netanyahu is pure deep state and just wants to keep war going. Okay? So we'll keep a handle on all of that. We are. And we're getting rid of the deep state in Iran. And then we'll bring peace to Iran. And then there'll be peace in the Middle East. And we won't have to have our troops there. We won't have to have our troops in South Korea anymore. And that's what we're all about, bringing peace back to the world and bringing abundance. Because we have the ability. We have the technology and the resources there, and we've been lied to. And all these evil people are going to be exposed. It's just a matter of time. Okay, but it's going to look like, oh, hell for Trump. Trump's going to go down. Well, that's what we want people to think. Okay? But again, politics and money are intertwined. They're locked together because they both have to do with freedom or slavery. If there's no money and you're a communist in a communist country, you're in a world of poo-poo. Okay, it sounds good at first because they'll tell you all these great things about, oh, everybody's going to have food. Everybody's going to have a job. We're going to tell you what kind of clothes you're going to wear, what kind of house you're going to have, what kind of job you're going to have. And if you don't like it, touch it. They don't tell you that, but that's how it works. They get the people all excited and they go to war against the capitalists. And okay, so money stops that. Money in the hands of the people gives the people freedom to do what they want. So we can't ignore politics and understand what money means to us. You can't. You want to, but you can't. Okay? So we are educating people as much as we can because that's what the business of distribution of our coin has to do. We have to educate something. We're not just, oh, we have a new social media, Facebook, Twitter. We have a new messaging service, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows about this stuff. They catch on real fast and they all start using it. Not with cryptocurrency, not with a monetary system. They don't understand it. It's not exciting for them. They just figure out, why? I've got dollar bills in my pocket. I've got money in the bank. I've got a credit card. You don't realize that system is literally an illusion and that they can bring it down whenever they want to. Of course, they don't want to. They want to keep you right on the edge of debt and default on all those loans. I mean, how can a country that has a constitution that says we're supposed to make our own money be $22 trillion in debt to a private bank? Is because we had presidents and politicians who were bought and paid for and were traitors to us, the American people. It started the last time with Woodrow Wilson. 3 days after he took office, he signed the Federal Reserve Act and betrayed the American people and turned the monetary system over to a private bank. that we've been paying interest for. They lend money to the United States government, and we pay them interest by them turning around and creating the IRS and taxing us for our hard work, called income taxes, so that they can pay the interest on the loans to the private bank, who just kicks back and keeps taking all the wealth. Now, how nuts is that? But you can see how it can happen. I mean, it all goes back in history. It starts with the kings, the monarchy families. They were the ones in control, and the people were just peasants, right? That's what we left. That's what our ancestors here in America left. We left England because we were just peasants. We were slaves to that system. We didn't have any freedom. We were told this is the only church we can go to. And we said, no, we're out of here. And some guy named Christopher Columbus discovered another continent. And so we're gone. Okay? But they just followed us. You saw what happened. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. We haven't been on for an hour. I need to say, just go down and click on some of those in the description of the video so that you can go and find out all the information you want. I highly recommend you click the one that says blogcoin.info, because admin has been posting blog posts since about a week after he started the coin about why he created the coin and how the distribution process is going to work. And he is kept in touch because he has our email addresses. To join our community, by the way, is a name and an email address. You can sign up your 1-day-old child and get them the free gift and pay $10. And they've got 3,000 that's going to grow to almost $1 million. If you just left it alone and didn't do anything else, you spend another $100, they'd have $3 billion when we max out, which could be as fast as 2 years. I mean, we only have to double our membership 9 times. That's just per person. 9 times. Okay, so it's real, it's here, we're not going away, we're only getting better. And have a great Friday night, have a great weekend. I will try to be here tomorrow. I'm already scheduled 5 o'clock tomorrow, Saturday. Okay, I realize it's already Saturday in the other side of the world. But okay, thanks for hanging out, thanks for listening, and we'll see you all guys tomorrow.